Good afternoon, everybody. Today I am going to teach you lesson number 3 of First Language English 10th Standard. The name of the lesson is The Gift of Magi. Let us go with the introduction of the writer and new words of the lesson. This lesson is written by O. Henry. O. Henry was an American short story writer. William Sidney Porter, better known by his pen name O. Henry, was an American short story writer. His stories are known for their surprise endings. He was born on 11th September 1862, Greensboro, North Carolina, in United States. He was died on 5th June 1910 in New York, in United States. His full name was William Sidney Porter. His famous short stories are The Gift of Magi, The Last Leaf, The Gift of Magi, which is there for our course. See here, children, you can see the picture of O. Henry, that is the writer of this lesson. Let us go with the new words whichever are used here. Magi is a plural and the singular of it is magus. The Magi were the 3 wise men who brought gifts to the newborn Jesus. According to the Bible, the Magi were 3 kings, Caspar, Melchior, and Balthazar, who travelled to Bethlehem from somewhere in the east, probably Persia. Bulldozing, arguing forcefully. Imputation, suggestion. Parsimony, meanness in spending. Close dealing, stingy or bargaining. Flop down, fall down. Sniffle, sniffing repeatedly while crying. Beggar description, impossible to describe in words. Mendicancy squat, beggars. Vestibule, entrance. Coax a ring, succeed in making it ring. See here, children, the picture of Bethlehem. You can see it, which is there in Israel. The 3 wise men of Magi, Caspar, Melchior, and Balthazar, as they had come to gift the newborn Jesus. The story of the 3 wise men. After Jesus was born, wise men came to look for him from an area which is now in either Iran or Saudi Arabia. Although they are often called the 3 kings, the Bible doesn't say how many there were or that they were kings. 3 is only a guess because they brought with them 3 gifts. Appertaining thereunto, connected or fixed to it. Christmas Eve, 24th December, the day before Christmas. Agile, active. Sterling, excellent or very good. Fire glass, a tall, narrow mirror designed to hang on the wall. whirl, turn. Queen of Sheba, the queen who visited Solomon and gave him many rich gifts. Air shaft, a space for ventilating a room. Depreciate, reduce the value of or devalue. King Solomon, king of Israel in the Old Testament. He was regarded the wisest of men. His court was known for its pomp and splendor. Janitor, caretaker or doorkeeper. Cascade, waterfall, flooded, moved, year, Old English, in New English, year, hashed, mixed, ransack, search. Fob, a chain by which a pocket watch is attached to a waistcoat. Chaste, plain and without much decoration. Meretricious, superficially attractive but of no real value. On the sly, secretly, prudence, having good judgment. Curling iron, an instrument used to curl hair. Ravage, ruin or wreck. Mammoth, huge, extremely large. Truant, someone who shirks his duty or work. Coney Island, a famous entertainment place on Long Island in New York. Chorus girl, a girl who dances or sings in a musical comedy. Setter, a dog trained to remain motionless at the scent of a bird to be hunted. Quail, a small bird, laboriously taking a lot of time. Patent, evident or apparent. Trance, a mental state in which a person is unaware of the environment. Enfold, embrace. Discreet, tactful or careful. Inconsequential, trivial or insignificant. Wit, an intelligent person. Nimble, agile. Ecstatic, very excited and enthusiastic. Dark assertion, mysterious statement. Hysterical, uncontrollable. Tress, hair. Coveted, craved for. Adornment, something decorative. Singed, burnt, slightly. Ardent, zealous or dandy. Too splendid. Manger, an open box from which cattle and horses fed. Babe in the manger, infant Jesus. Lamely, unsatisfactorily. Chronicle, story. Pre-reading activity. Let us begin with the lesson, children. You must have received many gifts. Which one did you like the most? Why? Here the writer asks a question to the readers. He says that you must have received number of gifts from your loved ones. Among all those gifts, which one did you like the most? So the likeness differs from person to person. Sometimes you may like the gift of your closest person. Sometimes you may like the gift which is given with love and affection. So it differs from person to person. Here in the story, you can find the gifts which were brought by Jim and Della. Very interesting lesson. You can enjoy it. Let us begin with the lesson. $1.87. So dollar is a currency. Cent means coins. That was all. So here $1.87 coins were there, and 60 cents of it was in pennies. The 60 cents, they were in pennies. Penny means lowest currency, coins, lowest coins. So here try to understand it. Total amount $1.87, and within that 60 cents were in the lowest currencies, that is the lowest coins. Pennies are saved 1 and 2 at a time by bulldozing the grocer and the vegetable man. So how those pennies were saved? Those pennies were saved by bulldozing. Bulldozing means here arguing forcefully, that is arguing for the reason to make the less amount from the grocer or vegetable man, and the butcher until one's cheeks burnt with the silent imputation of parsimony that such close dealings implied. So here try to understand it, children. The amount was saved with a great difficulty, that is by arguing with the vegetable man, with the grocer, and sometimes with the butcher. And it was saved with great meanness. Parsimony means here meanness. 3 times Della counted. So Della is one of the name of the character in this lesson. You can find Della is a lady. She counted the amount 3 times. $1.87. So what was the total amount she had? She had $1.87. And the next day would be Christmas. So the very next day was Christmas. She had the total amount of $1.87, and that all amount she had collected with great difficulties, that is by bulldozing the grocers, vegetable man, and the butcher. There was clearly nothing to do but flop down on the shabby little coach and howl. There was not any other means. There was clearly nothing to do, means there was not any other option but flop down on the shabby little coach and howl. She had not any other option except the flopping down. Flopping down means falling down on the shabby. Shabby means not very nice, awkward little coach which she had in her house, and she fell down on the coach and started crying crying with a loud voice. Howling means crying with a loud voice. So Della did it. So Della had no other option, just she lie down on the couch and started howling, which instigates the moral reflection that life is made up of sobs, sniffles, and smiles. So what lesson she gets from that? The lesson which she got will give a moral reflection, that is, life is made of difficulties and it is combination of smiles also, but most of the time one could face only the difficulties. While the mistress of the home gradually subsiding from the first stage to the second. So who is the mistress of the home here? Mistress of the home was Della. Gradually, slowly, she was managing herself, she was managing herself from the first stage to the second stage. So what was the first stage here? The first stage was she was very sad because she had only $1.87 and the next day was Christmas. She had only that much amount. She felt very sad. She cried for some time. That was the first stage. Now she was managing herself from the first stage to the second stage. So what was the second stage here? Take a look at the home. She looked here and there. A furnished flat at $8 per week. The flat which she was, it was systematic, it was furnished, and it was of $8 per week. It did not exactly beggar description. It was not of the beggar description. Beggar description means impossible to describe in words. But it certainly had that word on the lookout for the mendicancy squad. But when you look at her, you may feel that she is like a beggar. In the vestibule below was a letter box. So vestibule is entrance. In the entrance of the house, there was a letter box. The condition of the letter box was that in which no letter would go and an electric button from which no mortal finger could coax a ring. So here the condition of the place was like that. In the entrance there was letter box which was useless because from there no letter used to go, or they never used to get any letter from there. And there was an electric button which has no mortal finger could coax a ring. Means here it was not in a condition to give a ring. Broken one, it was also not working. Also appertaining thereunto was a card bearing the name. And there beside of that button there was a card which was connected to it, and the name was written on that card was Mr. James Dillingham Young. This is the name of the person. The Dillingham had been flung to the breeze during a former period of prosperity. So Dillingham, which was written, it had flew due to the breeze in the previous days. When its possessor was being paid $30 per week. So the board which was written Dillingham, it had plunged into the breeze when the owner was giving $30 for that house per week. Now, when the income was shrunk to $20, though they were thinking seriously of contracting to a modest and unassuming deal. So when the income was less, that is $20, they were thinking very seriously about contracting to a modest and unassuming deal. He is here Dillingham. But whenever Mr. James Dillingham Young came home and reached his flat above, he was called Jim. Whenever Dillingham is a full name of Jim, Mr. James Dillingham, whenever he was reaching to his home, to his flat, there he was called as Jim, and greatly hugged by Mrs. James Dillingham Young. Means whenever Jim used to come to his house, he was welcomed by his wife, already introduced to you as Stella. So who was Stella here? It is totally clear for you. Stella was the wife of Jim. Jim's full name was James Dillingham Young, which is all very good. Della finished her cry and attended to her cheeks with a powder rag. So let us come to the story and try to understand it. Della, as she was crying it, feeling bad for herself because she had very less amount, and the very next day was Christmas, so she lay down on the couch and cried for a long time. Then now she managed herself. Now she finished her cry and attended her cheeks with the powder rag. Rag is here puff, the powder puff, which is used to apply powder. So she attended to her cheeks. She stood by the window and looked out duly at a grey cat walking a grey fence in a grey backyard. She stood there near by the window and looked at the sight where there was a grey cat, and the cat was walking on the grey compound. Fence is a compound which was there in the backyard. Tomorrow would be Christmas Day. The very next day was Christmas, and she had only $1.87 with which to buy Jim a present. As the next day was Christmas, and whatever amount she had with her, with that she wanted to buy a gift for Jim. She had been saving every penny she could for months. She had saved that amount with very great difficulties, and she saved every lowest penny, very lowest coin from months for that purpose. So what was the purpose here? To buy a nice gift for Jim on Christmas Day. With this result, $20 a week doesn't go far, as she had the income of just $20, which was very insufficient for her. Expenses had been greater than she had calculated. So whatever her calculation was there, it was greater, the expenses were greater than the calculation. Whatever she used to calculate, the expenses were more than that. Only $1 and 87 cents to buy a present for Jim. Now she had just $1.87 to buy a gift for Jim. Her Jim. Many a happy hour she had spent planning for something nice for him. As she had planned much and too much to buy a gift for Jim. Something fine and rare. The gift which she wanted to buy should be fine and it should be rare also. And sterling, it should be wonderful. Something just a little bit near to being worthy of the honor of being owned by Jim. Here she wanted to buy the gift which should be nice, which should be fine, which should be rare, which should be wonderful, and it must be worthy of Jim. As Jim was a respectable person, she wanted to buy the gift which would be equal to him. That is, which should add more respect to him. There was a pier glass between the windows of the room. So between the windows of the room, there was a mirror, pier glass, mirror. Perhaps you have seen a pier glass in a $8 flat. So usually like those mirrors would be fit in the $8 flat. A very thin and very agile person. Jim was very lean, very thin, and he was a very active person. By observing his reflection in a rapid sequence of longitudinal strips, obtain a fairly accurate conception of his looks. So, as the mirror was fixed between the windows, any person, whoever is very thin and lean, could easily look out his figure clearly in that mirror. Della, being slender, Della was also very thin, had mastered the art. She was very perfect in looking into it. Suddenly she whirled from the window, turning down. Suddenly she turned from the window and stood before the class. As in the previous paragraph, we read that she stood near the window and she was looking at the sight of the outside, where there was a grey cat sitting in the grey wall near the compound. So immediately she came away from there and stood before the class. She started looking into the mirror. Her eyes were shining brilliantly. Suddenly she became very happy. Brilliantly, intelligently, we can get the meaning here. Immediately she got an idea. She felt happy, but her face had lost its color within 20 seconds. But the face looked very pale. She was still unhappy. She got an idea, but still with her look, she looked sad. Rapidly she pulled down her hair and let it fall into its full length. Immediately she loosened her hair and she allowed her hair to fall to its full length. Now there were two possessions of the Jim Dillingham eggs, in which they both took mighty pride. Possession, belongings, precious things. Both of them had one thing with them. Jim, that is James Dillingham Young, and Jim, both of them, they felt proud of themselves because they had the very precious possession with them. So what was it? One was Jim's gold watch that had been his father's and his grandfather's. So one possession on which Jim felt proud of himself. It was a golden watch, and it was the ancestral watch. Jim's gold watch was given by his father, and his father was given that watch by his grandfather. The other was Della's hair. The another thing which Della had was her long, beautiful hair. Had the Queen of Sheba lived in the flat across the air shaft, Della would have let her hair hang out of the window some day to dry, just to depreciate her Majesty's jewels and gifts. Had King Solomon been the geniator with all his treasure piles up in the basement, Jim would have pulled out his watch every time he passed, just to see him pluck at his beard from envy. So try to understand here, children. Comparison of Della's hair with Queen of Sheba and Jim's watch with King Solomon. So King Solomon was the king of Israel in the Old Testament. He was regarded the wisest of men. His court was known for its pomp and splendor. If Queen of Sheba had all the jewelries comparatively to her jewelry, Della felt herself great because Queen of Sheba had not the possession what Della had, and the possession was her long, beautiful hair. On the other hand, King Solomon had all the jewelry, gifts, and many things, and the Jim had the precious watch which King Solomon doesn't have.